I believe since the time of the adoption of the preschool with grade school, yes.
When was that?
That would have started last year.
08, 09?
Yes.
Okay.
Average in attendance, Department of Education says K to 12.
So
I'm not
So
sure.
are the numbers you're quoting including preschool?
I'm giving you the numbers that were the attendance, yes.
So
That's correct.
Do you get state aid for preschool?
No.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
That's a grant program.
okay, so you're counting numbers you're not getting state aid for.
A grant program.
Yeah.
State grant money.
Similar, identical to state aid formula? Less?
What?
Is it less?
I don't know.
All right, so it's an unknown factor of grant money. Superintendent's next.
I have other questions, but I'll let some other people speak.
Yeah, let's let other people have
Yeah, Max Kroger, Superintendent. If I were to believe your budget figures here, we increased our budget by $1.6 million probably this year. There's no way. That's probably 3 or 4 times what we increased.
Where'd you get a 96?
Well, you've got, on this chart, you've got last year being, if I'm reading it right, you got last year being a little over 6 million, 6.7 million, and then you got us go right here. Then you got us going up over 8 million this year.
Okay.
That was off of the budgeted.
You're not comparing apples to apples. You know that.
You're reading 6.6 million and 8.1.
Right, and those are accurate, those are actual figures. These are budgeted. If you would have taken last year's budgeted figure, you would have seen we increased our budget by about $350,000. And according to what Larry has to say, what's important is, just a minute.
No, let me answer that question. The numbers on that graph, the numbers on the graph he's referring to came right out of their levy notice in the paper. So the increases that are on that graph, he'll have to account for because they're their numbers we can show them to.
yeah, because you're comparing budgeted to actual from 2 or 3 years ago.
And the graphs.
And if you would have taken last year's budgeted figures and compared it to this year's budgeted figures, you'd see an increase of about 400,000. That's a lot different than $1.2 million.
Okay.
Secondly,
the graph. This is our meeting, sir. The graph says budgeted. You see the arrow? It says budgeted.
that's what I'm saying. One's budgeted, and he's comparing that to what we actually spent. For instance, in building fund, we have to budget the maximum that we think we can get in there that year. We may not spend $10,000, but we budget $400,000. My statement is that they're saying we went up $1.6 million in budget this year, and that's not accurate. Secondly, Larry says what really counts is what you have to pay. Actually, our tax asking this year is less than it was last year. What we asked in taxes for the school district is less this year than it was last year.
Okay, I think we're not comparing apples to oranges here. If they don't intend on spending what they've budgeted, that's a different matter. But at this point, they've laid it out to the community that this is what they budgeted to spend for the coming year. All we're doing is using the numbers as identified as budgeted expenditures for the coming year. If they change their mind, that's a different matter. But they're trying to set the taxes, the property taxes, based on that. So we're not misrepresenting anything. It's what they have published as the budgeted amount.
Andrew.
Are we ready for the superintendent, the deputy? We had a first question here that hasn't been answered yet. Can we get to that?
Yeah, let's do that. I'll get you next, Andrew. Okay, we'll try that.
That's interesting.
This is a recorded conversation between myself and Chief Deputy Fritz, so that we had, you know.
Don, I was in such a hurry not to burn your time in the first call. I wasn't the last call, but I didn't look at my second bullet point. And I hung up. I said, I told him it was the last call, too. But there it was after I hung up. And so I sat here a while and said, golly, I'm going to be like an idiot. I'm trying to understand. I think I understand on point number 27, the east corridor, the second floor, dead-end corridor, the 20 feet versus 50 feet qualification. Does that have to do with occupancy? Does it do with sprinkler protection? Sprinkler protection. Okay. Now, this is the same corridor we talked about the other day on where access is into room 213 and 214. Right. Now, if it dead ends in that it goes to one of those rooms? No, the day that I was there, if my memory serves me correct, those doors, there's a wall and a door, and then about a 4 foot or 6 foot, and then there's another wall and another door in the library, if I remember correctly. And then the day that I was there, those doors were locked so that you couldn't get through those doors. And I believe that the explanation that was given to us was that they did not want their students going that way. They wanted them going into the library from the other way, and that's why those doors were locked. I see. At that point, that's a dead-end corridor. I see. So
Does that answer your question?
Partially, I may have some others later, but go ahead with the question.
Okay, so your fire inspector has determined that that is a dead-end corridor because it's been presented to him that the door is locked. Takes care of the library issue if you unlock the door.
If you unlock the door, then you don't have a
Or
problem
keep it
with the
unlocked,
library.
as she's testified.
Yeah, then you don't have a problem there. So that is a non-issue when it comes for a reason to go ahead and put the hallway to the library, move the library to the gym, and then move the gym over so we've got another gym. It all follows back, and that's why I say the one argument, the reason that we're building the gym is because we have a locked door. Marty. No, wait. I was going to get to Andrew Mim first. Yes, Andrew?
Okay, Clay made the statement that the fire marshal has not said in his report that he would shut down any part of the school. That is up to the county attorney to enforce that, whether he wants to shut something down. Not the fire marshal. That happened in Verdigris. What leads you to believe that any part of our school, if not brought into compliance with the codes, would not actually be shut down? Because it has happened in the past with, as we said, Verdigris.
I have Jim Heine is Assistant State Fire Marshal, and he was asked, can you guys hear me? No. Some no, some no. Something about me. Jim Heine is the Assistant State Fire Marshal. He is in charge of the districts, different districts. He's over the Albion office. Basically second in line to the state fire marshal. We asked him about facilities that were shut down because of fire marshal reports. The email that we have from him and what happened, he said to get documents, and all of the documents, it's a nightmare to get them all. What he did is he emailed his marshals and asked them which ones were shut, or were there any shut down, which ones were they